Hey everybody, Stock Picks by Tim, back at you again, and if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, I'm going to explain the chart from beginning when they were a SPAC THBR Thunderbridge acquisition, all the way up until current day at the $11 range. So we have a fluctuation from 10 down to 8, up to 11. It's basically going to go over the timeline from beginning till now, and we're getting into it. Okay everybody, and we're going to start here back during the SPAC days when they were THBR Thunderbridge, and of course trading around the $10, coming up a little bit, probably got into a little hype. People started hearing about it, hearing what they were gonna merge with, and then it kind of sold off. We had a huge run up here, so there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype going into this one on news that they were going to merge. Huge run up, and then a sell off, and we actually had the merger on June 10th. Okay, so June 10th, and look at what happened. We had a huge run up, buy the rumor, sell the news. Typical of a SPAC merger, a sell off after the merger, sell off after the fact, which, to the normal person, you might look at it and say, well, what the heck? It's better than it was before the merger. It's more valuable, but it's everyone got in early, took their profits and got out. Okay, and that's just typical. That's what happens, it's like the easiest money grab in the stock market, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. Seems like it almost happens every time that way, and that's perfectly fine for me, perfectly fine for us. It means we get to make more money. So here was the merger, June 10th. We sold off. We ran up. We didn't know what we were doing. We were trading in this channel for quite a while. This is after the merge, okay? Nice little run up. Red candles drop down, coming down to about 850, okay? As you can see, I did place a line. I did place our support level right around here. Seemed like that's where it hit, bounced off, tried to test that previous resistance, came close to it, and just dumped. I actually came up a little bit over all the EMAs, and then it dumped down. Had to retry. It was hitting lower highs and lower lows, so that was a bad sign. It started to consolidate here at that 850, which was the base, and then once the merger happened, it didn't have that $10 floor anymore. That SPAC price where if it goes under, you can go to your brokerage and get that SPAC value. It was like, it's basically like insurance, That's why SPACs, when they're like just a little over 10, sometimes they can be a very good deal, especially if it's a SPAC with a $10 floor. Some do have different floors. I believe DraftKings might have been a $15 floor, if I remember correctly. But typically it's a $10 floor. But yeah, this is what happened. It had a sell off because there was no longer that $10 floor. Fell off, hit that 850, consolidated there for a while, ran up. It keeps bouncing in between the EMAs, if you'll notice. See it, so that if you look at it, I think it traded definitely, and it probably will still continue to trade as just based on technicals. It goes over the EMAs, comes down. It's trying to figure out what it's worth. The public, the institutionals, everyone's trying to kind of figure out where Indi will be, where its place belongs in current terms of the stock price. But okay, let's get back here. We have that run up, nice run up, almost broke that 10. That we had that back in the SPAC days. This did hit higher than that 1050, but this is post merger. This was our high. This was the highest we had, and it was nice seeing us break it. So in my eyes, we are figuring out kind of what this thing it's trying to figure out where it wants to trade at. And in my eyes, it's still a buy for me. I'm looking at warrants though. I'm looking at calls, specifically like 2022s, 2023s. I did notice that 2024s were quite expensive compared. So I figured that 2022s, 2023s, best deal. I would look for a drop though before getting more. I already have a few. So I'm definitely waiting for a nice little pullback to load up on more calls, maybe even a little bit more shares. And one last thing I wanted to bring to your attention. Remember Indi acquiring Teraction, okay? And that was on August 31st. So if you go look at August 31st, this is where we broke this previous. Right after the merge, we finally broke that level. Okay, so now here's our chance. I'm going to zoom out for you guys. I'm also going to bring this down a little bit. Okay, so here's our chance to work towards the 14s again. We broke this previous post-merger. We broke that right as the merger came and then sold off. We did break this. So either A, it's going to trade back in this channel. I don't see it hitting 850 again. I see it more like hitting maybe the 950s. I think it'll continue in this channel very likely if it does drop. Otherwise, if it comes and tries to test the 14s, if it comes up a little more, I see it definitely coming up and testing the 1250s, then testing the 14s. So we will see what happens there, but keep in mind at 12, if it can stay at or above 12 for 20 out of 30 consecutive days, there's a lockup expiration. So definitely watch out for that. Keep it on the radar. Keep an eye on it. Once I see this thing trading above 12 for more than like 15 days, I will be very considerate of taking some profits at the very minimum, just skimming some off the top, taking my profits, locking them in, which is definitely always something I like to do. Sure, it could run off and you could miss that little extra gain, but it's always good to scalp some profits just in case it does pull back. And it's just another way of doing risk management and being on the cautious side. No matter how convicted you are, no matter how sure of yourself, there's always something you could overlook. There's always, maybe the market doesn't see it the way you do. And just because you think something's worth something, it doesn't mean the market thinks it's worth something. But if you're right, and it will eventually hit the price if you did your math right, if you looked into it, and if you know and did your research. But that's basically all I got for you. We had that huge run up from the acquisition, and we're kind of just hanging out here at the 10 to 11. I see the 10 as the base. Now, after we had that nice run up and we came and reached the previous recent highs in terms of after merger, it did cool down and it actually hit the 50 and 100 day. Okay. So it seems like maybe either those will be the support level, the moving averages, or that $10 range. Because it did like very, very quickly drop under 10. It hit about 988, came right back up. So to me, that's the downside, is about 9 something to 10 right now in terms of the stock right now. But that's really all I got for you. I just wanted to go from a beginning till now. And remember, guys, the big picture, and at some point I see it going up here, no doubt. But I'm staying patient. I'm looking for the dips and looking for the deals to buy. I don't like to chase the highs. I could see this pulling back just a little bit at least before I consider loading up more. I do have a decent position though, so if you don't have a position, you could consider dollar cost averaging through time. You could just build a position now and continue to buy, say 20, 40, 100 per week, per month, whatever it is, depending on your risk tolerance, depending on your income level. But I also like to be diversified. This isn't my only stock. I do have a portfolio of about 20, 30 stocks, as well as crypto. All right, everybody. Hope it kind of gave you some knowledge about, the chart action, what it's been doing, trying to explain kind of the rips and the dips and why. But the more you know, the more you grow, and peace.